Hello, my name is Chelsea King, and I am running to be an Oregon State Senator to represent District 13, which includes Wilsonville, Tigard, Sherwood, King City, Durham, Metzger, and a small piece of Beaverton. I think the best way to describe myself is to tell you a little bit about my public school story. The story starts with the clang of a knife against the lid of a peanut butter jar, but it doesn't end there. And for that, I am grateful. See, when I was a child growing up, there was a combination of factors that resulted in my family moving a lot. Let me put it this way. There was a lot of chaos. I attended 7 different primary schools, 4 different middle schools. When I was little, I often went to school hungry. I can recall being in a primary school classroom, participating in a writing lesson where we were describing how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I remember focusing so hard on that writing lesson, hoping to do it just right so I could have that sandwich. You see, my family had been eating lentil soup for 2 weeks. I still remember the moment that the teacher was enacting my writing and the butter knife clink, clink on the metal lid of the peanut butter. I had not written the words to open the jar. My heart dropped as she moved on to the next student. And I realized that I was not going to get that peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I was going to stay hungry. But over time, I began to realize that public schools would also be my nourishment. There were educators like Mr. Keeling, a middle school counselor at Fleming Middle School in rural Southern Oregon, who worked with me during school hours and gave me the tools I needed to find my own strength in the classroom and beyond. Or the teachers at North Valley High School in Merlin, Oregon, who banded together to pay for me to have my wisdom teeth removed so I could be relieved of the headaches that were keeping me out of the classroom. Or Dr. Polson, a professor at Portland State University, who encouraged me, a first-generation college student who was paying my way through college, to go on to graduate school and even earn a graduate teaching assistantship, which helped me pay for that graduate school. It was this series of investments by public school educators who decided to live their life in service to youth that allowed me the opportunity to teach as an adjunct college professor and start the small business that I have operated for 15 years. It was public school all along the way that nourished me, that encouraged me to keep reaching. So when I had my own children, and I am fortunate to have 3 teenagers, I knew that public school is where they belonged. And I knew that I wanted to give back to the same system that gave me so much. That is why I volunteered hundreds of hours in the classroom and on field trips. That is why I served as the first PTA president at Lowry Primary, building an organization from the ground up with other parents. And that is why I decided to run for school board, where I am well into my 2nd term, and I currently serve as chair. And right now, as I speak of this topic, the work we are doing to ensure that all students have access to an education in Oregon that is well funded and that meets students' needs is under attack. Even as we are asking our public schools and educators to do more for students than ever before, districts like my own in Westland Wilsonville are grappling with decades of budget cuts from the state level. Just this week at a board meeting, I learned that our own district, like districts across the nation, is facing a 3% decline in enrollment. And we're being asked to dig ourselves out of this. And this crisis, it's not only about dollars. Over the 7 years that I've been on the board, I've witnessed the community conversations transition from productive dialogue about what's best for our local students to being ground zero for national culture wars. And our kids and their needs are getting lost. The national news is filled with images of people storming school board meetings, trying to shut down operations and prevent conversations in the classroom about gender identity or the impact of racism. As many of you know, that's happening right here in our communities. And I am proud that I have held that line as we have opened back up to in-person school and welcomed the public back in for in-person comment. While that means there have been quite a bit of unleashing of frustration by some members of our communities, I kept that door open because I know that an open door and a conversation is the only way that we're going to move forward together. And together, we will ensure that our children see their history, their culture, and their identity represented in our schools. That is why I'm running for Oregon State Senate, because I know that we can only move forward when we do so together. I've rolled up my sleeves to strengthen public education as an active volunteer and elected official for 12 years now, and I am ready to go to Salem to advocate for our schools and our youth. Our schools are the first step to building communities where everyone belongs and everybody can thrive. And I want to be at the state level, ensuring that we supply our public schools with the support they need to keep up this important work. Finally, we know that individual behavioral health and mental health is a key component of community well-being. Addiction and mental health challenges plague many families in our own neighborhoods. I can speak to my own lived experience with these issues. And this pandemic has exposed the deep chasms in our system. If you are Black, Indigenous, or a person of color, then your communities were hit hardest by COVID-19. And if you are a woman, then you are part of a community that bore the economic brunt of this pandemic. The cracks in our systems have never before been so exposed, and this includes our mental health system. We must ensure that we have culturally responsive and accessible mental health care available to all, our students and the adults. Imagine living in a community where it is just as easy to access addiction treatment and behavioral health services as it is to walk into a liquor store or get a cast for a broken bone. I know this is a big vision. Public schools have all the resources they need to provide for our youth in the complex ways that we are asking them to nowadays. A mental health care system that is accessible and culturally responsive for all who need it. An economy that takes care of the laborers and especially the women who are contributing to it, something that's particularly important to me as a single mom. I'm going to take this big vision all the way to the Oregon State Capitol because I believe in it. And I know you do too. And we must carry forward this vision because the alternatives are not viable. The only option to move forward toward this vision of community where everyone belongs. And this vision of community does not happen by accident. It's the teachers who helped me access dental care. It's the professor who inspired a student to reach higher. It's groups of people like you who believe that better is possible, that better is the only option. I'm asking you today to join me. Sign up for my email listserv so you can stay in touch with my campaign. Follow me on social media, Chelsea King for Oregon, and be sure to turn in your ballot and vote for Chelsea King in the May 2022 primary. Goodbye.